Hello there, welcome to Alex from Who Target. Come in, enjoy, come in please. Today thought I was going to do a bit of what I've been watching on TV, cinema and listening to on the radio and audio book wise. So let's go. We'll do the TV stuff first. All available on BBC iPlayer in the UK and probably on other streaming things in other parts of the world. So I'm going to start with the English 4-part drama. I think it's from Amazon as well, as it looked very done by other networks. A thing called Mixtape. It's basically a drama set in the 1980s and a bit in the 70s and a bit now, basically. It splits between two people, one called Daniel and one called Alison, basically, and they were first love. So it's all the feelings you have when you're in your first love, covered by an amazing sort of mixtape. Back in the day when we used to, instead of putting things up on Spotify, back in the day us oldies used to send each other tapes with different bits of music on, and this has a great soundtrack. I'm hoping they put it up on BBC Sounds or on Apple Music or Spotify, depending on what you use, and it has great bits of music throughout the events of their life. You see where they go to school, you see that unfortunately Alison has a pretty terrible home life. Her mother's an alcoholic and being abused by this one guy who eventually goes on to abuse Alison and rape her, and that's what she has to deal with for the rest of her life. That's why at some point she leaves Daniel and goes off to Australia and New Zealand and makes a life there, basically. And it's really nice, it's quite sweet. It has a very predictable ending. I'm not going to tell you what the ending is, but you can probably predict it if you watch up to episode 3. Absolutely fantastic music. I said there's some great bits from Jesus and Mary Chain, The Cure, Pest Mode. All those really great artists are in it, so it's well worth a watch. It looks stunning as well. It's been shot beautifully. There's lots of bits in Australia and New Zealand, I think, will look absolutely stunning in it. So I would recommend that on the iPlayer over here, Mixtape, if you didn't watch it live. Then we move to the stuff of UK drama that, in my personal opinion, and UK Alibi should be on the BBC, in my opinion. It's made by the BBC, so it should all be on the BBC, in my opinion. So let's start with the absolutely amazing Mark Gatiss Bookish. This is basically Sherlock Holmes, but in a bookshop in Charing Cross Road in just after the Second World War. We have Gabriel Books, who's played by the great Mark Gatiss. He also wrote this with the amazing Dr. Matthew Sweet, and a really nice person. I've met him a couple of times. Really interesting guy. Does a lot of stuff related to Doctor Who, and also has a great programme on Radio 3. If you haven't listened to it before, it's on a Saturday afternoon. It's all about different films, silent film. He's a great fan of British silent film, so well worth a listen if you're there. All on BBC Sounds. Just Google it. You'll find it there. So Bookish, he's a bookshop owner who is involved in solving crimes just after the war, and he also is in because it was banned, it was illegal in our country till the early 70s to be gay. So he's in a what they used to call, if you don't know the term, a lavender marriage. It's basically when somebody who's gay, to show they weren't gay, got married to a friend who knew they were gay, basically, and that's what they do in this. And we also have the connection of the fact that Gabriel's lover is one of his best friends, is the father of the son, Jack, who comes thinking what Gabriel, Mr. Book, is his father, but he isn't because of being gay. It's really well shot. It's beautifully lit. The settings are amazing, and the only thing what lets it down, unfortunately, is on being on a channel that has adverts. It much works better on a channel that doesn't have adverts. Like at the moment they're showing season 2 of Annika on BBC One without the adverts, and that works a lot smoothly. So really worth a watch if you like Mark Gatiss, if you like his sort of Sherlock Holmes. It is Sherlock Holmes but in a bookshop, basically. It's really well written, it's funny, it's great music in the background. I must get the soundtrack, so I recommend that. Anything I mentioned from the UK channels you can get, of course, on if you don't need audio description, you can get them on their website, which is just, if you Google it, just put UK in drama or Alibi and it'll find it. Or if you've got a Now package, it's all on there as the channels, basically. You can search for it on there. So the second thing, which was on UK drama recently, is outrageous, I think it's called. It's the history and stories of these 7. I didn't know they had 7. They're always bonkers of a fruitcake and quite mentally unstable, in my opinion, are the Mitford sisters. It's all a history of the Mitford sisters, and you just see how unstable and how they really changed the world at the time. You know, one is with Oswald Mosley, that's Diana Mitford. Utility Mitford ends up being, I think she must end up being the lover of Adolf Hitler. So it just shows how nuts these women were, and they just changed history. Really like it, you know, for the mise en scène. It's very well shot. It's got great history bits in it. It's got a good soundtrack, very jazzy. The women playing the Mitford sisters are great. My only concern is I think the guy who plays Oswald Mosley isn't the greatest. I really wish, because I've been watching the last 2 series of Peaky Blinders, and they have the Oswald Mosley character in that, and I really wish they'd used the actor from that, because he's much more menacing, I find. But overall, it's really good. The Mitford sisters are just partying the whole time. You get to see what happens to them and how recently bonkers are. And I've got nicknames, so I like to, you know, probably very wrong, but I work them out as different types of lovely cake, because they're bonkers, basically. That's the only way of describing it. How these women change things is amazing, because they were literally mentally unstable in some ways, in my personal opinion. And, you know, we've had other things where we look at the situation. There's a very good Clive Barker book, I think the last one he ever did, I think it's called Ash, where, you know, what if the one who was with Hitler had a daughter turned into Princess Diana. I think it's quite a bonkers book, basically. But it's called Ash. It's by Clive Barker. I think it's the last book he did. Well worth a read. So anyway, Mitford Sisters, or it's called Outrageous. That is also on UK Drama in this country, or on the UK website. Well worth a look at. I'm trying to think if there's any other drama I've been watching. It's been the summer period, and it's been sport here. We had Wimbledon to watch bits of. We had the Lionesses. Very well done to the Lionesses, who won the European football. Watched that all the way through. I wasn't thinking I was going to watch the final all the way through, and had a great evening with that. That penalty shootout was nerve-wrackingly great. Yeah, so I think that's all the TV. I'm just trying to think in my head if there's anything else I've been watching, and I think that's it. We're always up for suggestions. I need to watch The Assassin on Amazon Prime, because people have been telling me, well, it's very good. I need to sit down and watch that. I think that's the only thing I haven't watched. Oh, I also watched, I just remembered, I've also watched off Disney Plus, which I think is quite good. It's not terrible. It's not She-Hulk territory or terribleness, but it's good. It's Ironheart, which is the sort of spin-off from Iron Man on Disney. It's about an American college student who makes her own iron suit. And, you know, we get to meet Mephisto for the first time, which is played by Saron Baron Cohen, old Mr. Borat. Yeah, I've been watching that. I keep falling asleep, so I need to watch more of that. I think that is everything on the TV front. Excuse me. Right, now we'll move to the films I've been watching, because I've watched quite a few films over the summer, and I've got to do this in the right list. And some, you're going to go, what, you like that? And if you think I'm wrong, then please comment in the comments. First film I watched off Disney Plus was the new Snow White musical. And yes, it's not perfect, I will admit to that. It's not great. It's a bit of fluff based. It's enjoyable, and I thought I was going to hate it. And I have a 5-minute threshold normally, and I normally turn things off. Oh, I forgot to mention the TV bit. I sat down and watched Destination X, which is the new thing BBC are doing, which is a travel show quiz. We don't know where we are, and it's done by the same people who did The Terrible Traitors, and that was terrible. That didn't last the 5-minute threshold, so I thought I'd mention that. Anyway, back to Snow White. I really enjoyed it. I think the actress who's now in Evita singing in London is really good. She sings, all the songs are really enjoyable. I was humming along. Yeah, I get people's point about the dwarfs being too CGI'd, but I thought it was really good. I know there was a lot of problems offset with the making of the film, and person who used to play Wonder Woman, I can never pronounce her name, the Hawaiian actress who played Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot, that's when my brain kicked in. Gal Gadot, who plays the horrible queen, is quite enjoyable. It's not terrible. It's not as bad as everybody made and slated it. You know, everybody slated it online going, it's a terrible film, you shouldn't watch it. But I enjoyed it. I then, because I hadn't seen it, watched Amar, which is the film that won the Oscar about a sex worker who gets involved with a Russian prince and, you know, falls in love with them and then, you know, tries to rip them off, basically. I really liked it, and I can see why she won the Oscar, because there's an awful lot of work she did, finding out about sex workers and pole dance. She learned to pole dance, like she pole dances really well. But then the middle bit of the film is a bit drawn out. But the thing, in my personal opinion, makes her win the Oscar is there's one scene right at the end. I won't say in case you haven't seen it, but there's one scene right at the end. She's sort of sitting in the car and she just cries, and then it ends, and it's really hardcore, that one scene. So I think that's what got her the Oscar, basically. Yeah, well, I think it's worth a watch just to see your feelings on an interesting film on those sort of very interesting areas of life. And I think she did her research, because the first half of the film was really good. It just, unfortunately, the middle bit, it draws a bit. But you might disagree. You might think, no, the film was excellent. Let me know in the comments. So that was the first two. Then I watched Gladiator 2. I did this through Sky Premiere, basically. I've been watching a lot of this stuff on Sky Premiere or Disney+. I watched Gladiator 2, and I had this quandary, basically, because I really loved Gladiator 1. I think Gladiator 1 is an absolutely perfect film from start to finish. And then I thought, why is there a need to do a Gladiator 2? And I missed it at the cinema. I wanted to see it at the cinema. And I thought, why is there a need for a second one? And I sat down there, and it's a nice continuation. If you haven't seen, Paul Mesny is basically Russell Crowe's character, Maximus's son, through the Marcus Aurelius' daughter, basically. And he sort of becomes he doesn't know this, he becomes a gladiator, one of the best, like his father was. And around this, you have a lot of slimy politics. And the politics is great. I think the only problem with it is when he's on set, Denzel Washington basically kicks Paul Mesny's arse on set, basically. He is absolutely mesmerising. The bits with Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington is absolutely brilliant, and it's nice to see Sir Derek Jacobi in it. It was very good. It's not unenjoyable. I did enjoy it. That's how I look at it. If it was unenjoyable, I would tell you people. Don't worry. I'll get to Superman and tell you what I didn't like about Superman in a bit. So I think have I watched? Oh yeah, then I watched another film everybody said was terrible, and I didn't get to the cinema, and I wanted to see it at the cinema, but I didn't. And then I was going to get it on Apple, but it's been ridiculously quite pricey. It's been under the £20 mark. I don't know why on Apple. But then, luckily, about a week ago on Sky Movies Cinema, they had Craven the Hunter. And it's a DC Marvel film. So this is always interesting, because I don't think, except for a couple of things, that a DC Marvel films have been terrible. They've been really good still. Like, the Spider-Man films are really good. We won't talk about the Simeon films. We won't talk about the Mr. Tom Hardy ones. We won't talk about it because they were terrible. But and we won't talk about Morbius because that was terrible as well. But the Spider-Man films have been excellent, and I really enjoyed Craven the Hunter. And I've got a feeling from watching that is the next Bond. I think Aaron Taylor Johnson is the next Bond, unless Bond-wise they go with because it's, if you didn't know, Bond is being directed by the guy who does all the Dune films, and I personally reckon it'll just take all the special effects cast, backroom staff from Dune, and pump it into a Bond 26. It is film, no title yet. All we know about that is Stephen Knight is writing the script, and the guy I can't pronounce who did Dune and Arrival is going to direct the film. So Timothée Chalamet is the main man he likes working with, and I think that will be the next Bond personally. But I'm praying it's not. This is the rumour that's going around. It's Tom Holland is up for it as well. I like Tom Holland as Spider-Man, and I think he's going to be good as Odysseus' son. We'll get to that in a bit, because I saw a brilliant trailer at the cinema when I went to see Fantastic Four and Superman on Friday. But anyway, back to Craven the Hunter. It's a really good film. It's got some really good fight scenes in it. It's got some nice wildlife in it, some great shots with lions, and it's got a good soundtrack. Look good on the TV. Russell Crowe is good as his very nasty, manipulated father. The woman, I can't remember her name, is really good in it. So, I think as a romp or as a Marvel sort of film, it's well worth sitting down and watching, because it is good. It's one of the better ones, because it's made by Sony, not completely by Marvel. So, yeah, that was that. And then, as I said, on Friday, because I haven't been really wanting to do a cinema trip because of the audio description always breaks down, all those things what annoy me. But I decided finally, because I wanted to see on a good screen, Fantastic Four First Steps, and I wanted to see Superman, the new James Gunn Superman. So I went to the cinema and the picture house were amazing. Luckily, the deputy manager Jake was there and looked after me beautifully. Even though the first pair of headphones, 1 hour 55 film, that's how long Fantastic Four is, they did start getting squishy and falling, the sort of sound that went off by the credits. But otherwise, fine. So, Fantastic Four First Steps. A complete reboot of the Fantastic Four films, with Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic, and more related to them in the other world and how they're a family, and there's lots of jokes and in-jokes about the animation. I really, really liked it. I thought it was sharp, it was quick. I really liked the fact that the female characters are the main point of it. Sue Storm is the main point of it. And the Silver Surfer, I can't remember her name, for the acting name, but he's really good. Again, I thought Mark Gatiss was good in it as the narrator. But I thought it was very punchy. It had good pace. It had good humour in the joke bits. I really liked it. I liked the music as well. I thought it was a good, pacey, to the point film and set up nicely for Doomsday, the next big Avengers film that's coming. We'd soon, the Fantastic Four will probably be in the next Spider-Man film, because there is another Spider-Man film. Before we get to Doomsday, I think there's another Spider-Man film coming, and maybe Doctor Strange 3, so I've got to fill the gap before we get to the big two film, which are Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Civil War, which is on the War Planet, and then they're going to reboot the whole thing. Let me know your feelings on all that. So then after that, I went into Screen 2 at the Picture House, and unfortunately, Screen 2 is a bit older, the screen isn't as good, the sound isn't as good as Screen 1, I really wish it had been in Screen 1. I went to see Superman. Now, Superman is a good film, I'm going to say that now, it is a good film, it's enjoyable. New James Gunn running the whole of DC. He left Marvel to run the whole of DC, so he's in control of Superman, Batman, all that part of DC's comic films that are coming. Now, the title of this film, I'm going to say again, is Superman. But when you watch this film, as well as having Superman, there is a lot of stuff with what they call the Justice Squad, which is basically the Justice League. So you have Mr. Fantastic, you have Green Lantern, you have a lot of the other characters who are taking a lot of film time up with explanation of what they are and why they're there, and doing a lot of bashing and crashing. I like the Lex Luthor character. I thought that was very much like Donald Trump. He's doing like Donald Trump impression. I think it's really good. Very presently Trumpy at the moment. I like the Russian guy who sets up Superman base and makes him to be out a terrorist. I thought that was very Vladimir Putin look-alike. My main objection with this film is there wasn't enough Superman time. It's called Superman, so the whole film should be Superman. Lois, yeah, she was good. The bit where they're in her apartment and she's interviewing is really good. I like the new Superman. I do like the new Superman. I think he's a good actor. That was good. The dog was cute, and yeah, he was in a bit too much. He was cute. I'm going to admit that. He was a nice looking dog, and I hope they bring him back for Superman 2. The quick bit we had with Supergirl was annoying. She was very punk bratty. It reminded me a lot of the Guardians of the Galaxy films this film did. So, in my personal opinion, if it had been shorter, tighter, it would have been a really good film. I'm not saying it's a bad film, because it isn't a bad film, but the problem is it's meant to be the Superman film, not Superman and the Justice League, or Superman and the Justice Squad, Superman and Kato the dog, or Superman and Supergirl. It was meant to be Superman, and that was the problem. I don't know what it was. What I just couldn't get to grips with the actors playing Clark's parents. They were a bit too Farmer Hickish for my like. I don't know what it was. Something about their voices what I found annoying as well. Well, I didn't come out of the cinema in an annoying mode because I enjoyed the film. I just had problems seeing it because there was no emotion on the screen, unfortunately. It was completely either white or black. Headphones were good, but the sound quality is so terrible in Screen 2, unfortunately. It's worse than my screen here. So we'll definitely get in the house the 4K Blu-ray when it comes out to watch it again. I'll probably change my opinion. But it's 2 hours 20, and I think you could have easily shaved a good half an hour off that. And it's like, you've got to explain why Clark wears glasses and why he's Clark Kent and he's Superman. Lois always knows that. Because it's the glasses, he's got hypnotic glasses. I thought that's a crap option, This explanation with having as an explanation in case people hadn't seen other Superman films or knew who Superman was, having the Justice Squad there as an explanation tool wasn't a good idea in my opinion. I think they need their own film without Superman, and that we call Justice Squad. unlike this, which is Superman, but it might as well have been called Superman and the Justice Squad. So there we go. That's the films I've been watching. If you disagree with any of my opinions here, then let me know in the comments. I am going to mention one audio drama I listened to and was blown away by last week. It's on the iPlayer. It's called Red Gold, and it's all about, I don't know if you know about this, the blood scare in England in the late 80s, 70s. An awful lot of people were given blood which was basically infected and gave them really nasty things like AIDS or other really nasty things, and they had to live with that for the rest of their life. They are all getting compensation, but the problem being with it that the government is taking forever to give out the compensation. So a lot of people's families aren't getting it because the person dies before they can get it, and then the whole family has to start everything over again, which is really bad. It takes forever. And there was a fabulous drama on Radio 4 last week about a guy who was in that situation and how he's coping with life and how he feels and being an advocate for them. So I seriously recommend you go to the iPlayer. It's called Red Gold, and enjoy. So yeah, that's what I've been listening to, watching, or going to the cinema for the first time in ages. I want to do more of as it's getting more autumn. There's a very good Western coming out again with Pedro Pascal, and I wonder he had to leave The Last of Us. He must be. I'd love to know. People, let me know in the comments here or on my Twitter feed. That's Who Target, WHOTARGET. Please add if you're not already following. Same on the Instagram. I'd love to know with Pedro, is he richer now than The Rock? Because The Rock was the most richest person in Hollywood. Well, I got a feeling Pedro must be getting close. Because you look at, he's had Gladiator 2 out. Well, last year that was Gladiator. I suppose it was last year, wasn't it? I only saw it recently. Gladiator 2 was last year. This year so far, he's had Fantastic Four. He's got Edmonton coming out. It looks really good. A Western with Joaquin Phoenix and him and Emma Stone looks really good. He's got other stuff. He's got next year. He's got, of course, the Mandarin and Grogo films I will be going to. So anyway, let me know stuff I should be watching, listening to. Anything you think I should be. Music wise, I got the vinyl, which I'm waiting still to turn up at some point. But I've been listening to on my phone the reissue of Richard Hawley's Cold Calling, the album he won the Mercury Prize for many years ago. It's very good. I recommend that. So anyway, if you're enjoying the podcast, leave a comment. Comments always get replied to. And as I keep saying, keep the love, people, and enjoy.